What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Star Wars Closet, where we dive deep into a galaxy far, far away. In today's video, we are talking about something that's going to be a little bit longer than normal, because today I want to talk about why is the fan base so divided. Not only that, I want to examine how it used to be divided versus how it is now. Because as we dive into this galaxy that's so far away, about things that happened a long time ago, you can see that there is a galactic level civil war happening, and it is within its own fan base. It's not the rebellion versus the empire, it is not the resistance versus the first order, and it is not the republic versus the trade federation. It is amongst us fans. Join me for a moment if you would. Just let's tell a little story. Let's talk a little bit. Once upon a time, we were Star Wars fans and we loved talking Star Wars. And all of us really just had one big argument. Who shot first? Does that not sound like such a simpler time? When we would talk about and argue about who shot first, Han definitely shot first in A New Hope, and we would fight about that all the time. Well, no, it changed. Well, no, it was always meant to be this, or no, it was always meant to be that. That used to be the argument, and guess what? It didn't cause you to hate the person that disagreed with you. That took place in 1977. Fast forward to 2025, we are divided by everything. The movies, shows, books, games, you name it, and we hate someone who either loves it or hates it. So here's the question. Let's examine this. Why was this big conversation about who shot first between Han Solo and Greedo such a big deal? And why is everything a big deal now? From The Last Jedi to the Acolyte, Star Wars Outlaws, on and on and on, everything becomes this massive ordeal where we're all upset and we're fighting on the battleground of X or Instagram or whatever platform you might have. That is our new space to have war. Everybody has a microphone, everyone has a stage, and everyone has an opinion, and everyone's opinion upsets someone so much that they now dismiss you as a person. I literally made a post not that long ago asking where the aliens were in Andor, and you would have thought I said that this was the worst thing that Star Wars ever made because I didn't see enough aliens. People are crazy. But you know what? All I know is things are moving fast here at the Star Wars Closet, so you better get on board. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, make sure you stay connected with what the Star Wars Closet is doing. We're currently on the road to 1 million subscribers, and we will get there. I have all the hope in the world. I have so many reasons to be excited about what Star Wars means to me and my people, and obviously people seem to really enjoy talking about it. Otherwise, this channel would not have grown as fast as it has. People love Star Wars, and all I want to do is be a fresh voice for Star Wars in a way that doesn't always put it down. There's a lot of things that have happened that I'm very unhappy about, and there's a lot of things that I'm still kind of looking forward to. But I also have these memories for 3 decades of my life that will never go away, and that's why we're here, and that's why we talk about this stuff. So no, I'm not going to let it die. I'm not going to do that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to face it. We're going to address the mess that is going on in the Star Wars fandom right here, right now. And we're going to do it by examining the earlier fights of the Who Shot First, which was like the only fight, to everything is a fight now. Grab some blue milk, grab a lightsaber, don't use it on your friend. Let's talk about this war going on between the Star Wars fandom. Let's start with the spark that lit the fandom's first ever fire. The OG debate, the first ever Star Wars debate. Who shot first? In 1977, Star Wars A New Hope hit theaters, and we met Han Solo, the galaxy's smoothest smuggler. We meet him in a cantina scene, and Han's cornered by Greedo, a bounty hunter working for Jabba the Hutt. Greedo's got a blaster pointed right at Han, but Han sneaks his own blaster under the table and...
Yes, I bet you have.
Shoots Greedo dead. Han shoots first, and it's a defining moment. He is not a shiny hero. He's a rogue who survives by making tough calls. That scene cemented Han as a fan favorite. But in 1997, George Lucas dropped the special editions, remastered versions of the original trilogy with new effects and tweaks. In the cantina scene, everything changed. Now, Greedo shoots first, or at least it's edited to look that way. Han dodges the shot, impossibly fast I might add, and he fires back. Fans were stunned. The edit wasn't just a minor change, it altered Han's character. If Han shoots first, he's a pragmatic anti-hero. If Greedo shoots first, Han's just defending himself, which feels safer and more traditionally heroic. So the question is, why was this so controversial? Well, let's break it down. First, you have the character issue. This is something that we just talked about. Fans loved Han's edge, this kind of shoot first, ask questions later. Making him more reactive though, it softened that feeling of the character of Han Solo. And second to that, the edit itself, it was so clunky. Greedo's shot seemingly comes out of nowhere. Han's head kind of dodges it in this weird, like almost Jedi-like way. I would even argue it was more cartoonish than Jedi. But to me, it kind of broke the immersion. Third, and maybe most importantly, it raised this question: who owns Star Wars? George Lucas himself, the creator, the father of Star Wars, said himself that it was always intended for Greedo to shoot first.
It was always meant that Greedo fired first. And in the original film, you don't get that too well. In terms of Han's character and everything, I didn't like the fact that when he was introduced, the first thing he did is just gun somebody down in cold blood. That wasn't what was meant to be there.
What?
Claiming that the original cut was limited in 1977. But fans argued that for 2 decades, they loved the version that they've always known of Han Solo, the shoot first Han Solo. This wasn't just about a scene, this came down to trust. This wasn't just, we altered a scene just a little bit, no big deal, we added some aliens here, we added some stormtroopers there, we added some background characters, we spruced up the CGI. No. They completely altered a character by one clunky edit. So this is about trust. This is about legacy of a character. And it came down to this weird debate: does Star Wars belong to the creator or to the audience? The who shot first debate became a cultural phenomenon. Fans made t-shirts, started petitions, and argued on early internet forums. It was passionate, but mostly playful. It was a shared obsession that united us. But it also set up a precedent. When Star Wars changes, fans push back. And that pushback, it has only grown louder. Now you fast forward to 2025, the galaxy is now full of factions. The who shot first debate almost sounds quaint compared to what we're dealing with now. Today's battles are way stronger and way louder than ever before. Why? Because Star Wars isn't just 3 movies anymore. It is a sprawling universe. You have the prequels, the sequels, Disney Plus shows like The Mandalorian and Andor, books like The High Republic, games like Star Wars Outlaws and the others. With so much content now, fans have different entry points into the Star Wars fandom. They have different loyalties, different expectations. Times have changed. And this is a recipe for conflict. You mix all these things together and their entry points have changed with different games or different varieties of entertainment with books and movies and whatnot. You put all this in a cauldron and you mix it up and you have a lot of angry, loud people. Let's break down the biggest reasons that we are arguing currently, from specific projects to deeper cultural shifts. Let's start with the sequel trilogy: The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. These films released from 2015 to 2019. They were supposed to unite fans under Disney's new ownership. Instead, they became ground zero for division, and The Last Jedi is the biggest lightning rod. Directed by Rian Johnson, it took bold swings. And I'm gonna use the word bold there on purpose because whether it was a good swing or a bad swing, it was a bold swing. And that doesn't always mean good. That also doesn't always mean bad. Luke Skywalker becomes a delusional hermit who's abandoned the Jedi way. Rey, as a quote nobody,
they were nobody.
They're filthy junk traders. You have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
with no grand lineage, and a story that questioned heroism and legacy. Now listen, some fans loved this and currently do, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a good amount of people like to put The Last Jedi as one of their top 3, top 2 even, maybe even top. They see it as a fresh take. And listen, I'm fine with making fun of that because I think that movie is crazy in a lot of bad ways. But I don't hate anyone that thinks it's a great movie. In fact, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you love it. I want you to love it. I don't love it, but I love you. I love you. But a lot of people see it as a fresh take. It's something that they were looking for desperately. They wanted something new and fresh, and that's what they got. Luke Skywalker grappling with failure felt human to a lot of people. Rey's arc empowered everyday people, and the film's themes of moving beyond dogma resonated. But a lot of us, like me, felt a little bit betrayed by how this movie presented a lot of heroes that we grew up with. Luke's tossing his lightsaber was seen as disrespectful to the hopeful hero of the original trilogy. The slow speed chase in space. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? The slowest space chase I have ever, what are we doing? They were going 2 miles per hour in space, and it just kept going on and on and on. Admiral Holdo's art and Canto Bight's side plot frustrated fans who wanted tighter pacing. You can literally skip that entire scene and the movie still makes probably more sense. And then there's Snoke. Killed off with no backstory, which annoyed fans who expected a big bad like Palpatine. Oh, but don't worry, Palpatine's a-coming. But the thing is, like, even with Snoke, like, I can go on this whole soapbox about The Last Jedi and I won't, but my thing with all of these things that we just mentioned, I remember distinctly, which is how I got into Star Wars on YouTube, at least just being a consumer of it, was so many people were talking about these theories. They were theorizing on who is Snoke and who is Rey, and it was like Rian Johnson went out of his way to circumvent all of our thoughts, and it was like it was done on purpose. I digress. I still don't care if you love that movie. If you love The Last Jedi, I'm so happy for you, and I don't think any differently of you. Nor should I. It is an entertainment movie, and if you resonate with it, that is fantastic. I do not. And I guarantee you that even though I am qualifying all of my thoughts here, people will still comment like I'm a crazy person, and they will threaten me or be mean to me or hate me or whatever, and I just don't care. The Last Jedi divide wasn't just about plot. It got personal. Some fans who dislike this film are labeled as toxic, and that's it. It is black and white. You are just toxic, and you must hate new ideas. You toxic person. I hate you. They get accused of hating its diverse cast. Meanwhile, critics of the film felt that their valid concerns about the lore and the pacing or Luke's arc were dismissed as whining. And let me tell you, X posts right now, like formerly known as Twitter, that shows that wound that a lot of people feel has not healed. On both sides, by the way. Whether you love the movie or hate the movie, that wound is still wide open. Gaping, bloody mess. People still fight about that movie as if it just came out yesterday. There are people that are currently arguing on, did The Last Jedi save Star Wars or did it kill Star Wars? And to be fair, the sequel trilogy's inconsistent vision, The Rise of Skywalker, for example, retconning everything that happened in The Last Jedi, all that did was pour fuel on the fire. Next, I want to talk about The Acolyte, which came out in 2024 on Disney+. That was set in the High Republic era, around 100 years before the prequel trilogy took place. It's a mystery thriller about the Jedi at their peak, with new characters, a diverse cast, and explorations of the Force's gray areas. Some fans were thrilled. It expanded the timeline, questioned the Jedi's flaws, and introduced cool lightsaber fights. But others were not on board. I am one of the others. So why the divide though? Well, The Acolyte, it felt a little too different in a lot of ways. Its focus on institutional critique, like the Jedi being a flawed bureaucracy, that really did not resonate with a lot of fans. A lot of people see Star Wars as a clear good versus evil story. And then a lot of us would point to a lot of uneven pacing. There was also a lot of weird new lore, like the space witches.
The power of many.
And it just felt very disconnected from Star Wars altogether. It felt like someone was making the show about Star Wars who really wanted you to no longer like Star Wars. And then there's diversity. The Acolyte leaned into inclusive casting and themes, which earned praise from fans who felt represented. But some argued that it prioritized messaging over story, sparking heated debates on X that often veered into real-world politics.
Oh no, I'm not brave enough for politics.
Woke versus traditional Star Wars. These arguments drowned out all of the real-life criticisms and wins of The Acolyte. Because to me, unless the motive of this entertainment, me going into it knowing that it's about real-world situations, great, I can handle that. But if you're taking me into a galaxy far, far away and you want me to kind of forget everything around me and just lean into the entertainment of the show, yet you make it about what's going on in the real world, people are going to talk about that more than they're going to talk about your show. Again, that's just my opinion. There are things about The Acolyte that I enjoyed. Most of it, though, I did not at all. And you know what? The people that love The Acolyte, I have great conversations with on X. We never debate, and if we do, it's always friendly and it ends friendly. But I have had those in my comments or on X coming at me like I am the worst human alive just because I don't really like it that much. So that's just another example. I can give you another one right now. Let's talk about Andor. Hold on real quick because I have to tell you about today's awesome sponsor, Soundstripe. If you are looking to level up your content with any royalty-free music just like I have and a lot of other creators, you can have better sound, design, and music. Make sure you use the link in the description and use code The Star Wars Closet for 10% off your first purchase. Thank you so much, Soundstripe, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. This is a Disney Plus prequel show that came out in 2022 and now here in 2025. This shows a gritty spy thriller. It dives into Cassian Andor's journey from thief to rebel, with stellar writing like The Prison Escape or Mon Mothma's political maneuvering. Critics and fans hailed it as a masterpiece for its depth and realism, but not everyone was sold. A lot of fans felt that Andor was too far from Star Wars' core. Where were the lightsabers, the Jedi, the space dogfights? To a lot of people, it felt like this generic sci-fi drama, and really all they did was slap the Star Wars logo on top. Others loved the fact that it expanded the universe. It shows the rebellion's human cost. And this highlights a big divide in tone. Star Wars used to balance adventure, mysticism, and fun. Andor, however, leans hard into realism, which really thrills some fans but alienates a few others, especially if you're into classic Star Wars escapism. That's kind of where I lean, but I actually enjoy the show quite a lot. And as we just experienced in the third episode of Andor Season 2, they just included, at the time of this recording, SA and the R word, and it has caused a massive debate online. People are fighting. You have a lot of creators that are defending the move to have this scene in the show, and then you have those like Theory who think it's absolutely crazy that it's in the show altogether. Then you have a lot of people in the middle that are like, I wish they hadn't put it in there, but it's in there. I can move on from it, and I see why they did it, but me personally, I wouldn't put it in there. But then you have two factions, and that's what's been happening, is these factions. It's this black and white, yin and yang. It is like, you must love that the scene is in there. Or no, you must hate that the scene is in there. That is your only option. I just think there's a lot of people that are doing that, and it's getting all of those that just want to talk about the show really messed up. So I guess my overall point there is we let these big moments ruin what we should be talking about, but we're missing the overall point here in that we are just arguing constantly about all these massive things, and we're no longer talking about Star Wars. We are talking about what Star Wars is doing to us. Now let's move on to a show that everyone universally loves, The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian came out in 2019 all the way to 2023. This show was a phenomenon. Originally Baby Yoda, or the child, now Grogu, becomes a global icon. And let me tell y'all, I have him everywhere, okay? I have kids, so I have Grogu's. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Fans also love its kind of Western vibe, Din Djarin's journey. It ties this classic Star Wars lore. It felt like a return to form after the sequel trilogy's divisiveness. Even The Mandalorian sparked arguments. Season 3 in particular split fans. Some felt it lost focus, with episodes like the Lizzo and Jack Black cameo feeling too goofy or disconnected from Din's arc. Others argued the show leaned too hard on fan service. Cameos from Ahsoka, Luke, or Bo-Katan, making it feel like a setup for other projects. Then there's Grogu himself. Some fans adore him, others think that he is a marketing ploy that overshadows the story. The Mandalorian showed that even a beloved project can't please everyone. And that's a little bit of an oversimplification, because the truth is The Mandalorian Season 3 was not very good. Yes, you had the Lizzo and Jack Black moment, but it was more than just like, oh yeah, they had some goofy moments. The show had no direction, it felt like. There was nothing going on. It was a big, long side quest that really meant nothing, and it was really a show, that season in particular, really about Bo-Katan. I love Bo-Katan, I think she's a great character, but the show is not called The Bo-Katan Show, it's called The Mandalorian, and we know The Mandalorian to be Din Djarin. I get that Bo is a Mandalorian, therefore universally it could be any Mandalorian, I understand that. I'm just saying we know the show to be about Din Djarin and his journey. Either way, that's not even the biggest point in that whole season. It just felt like it had no direction, and this really comes from the fact that we don't know if it was Dave Filoni or who it was who pivoted after Luke took Grogu at the end of Season 2.
Come, little one. May the Force be with you.
and then they pivoted back to Din ending up with Grogu again, it was like, all right, well, we had to do this because we're afraid of losing money. So now I guess we need to figure out a season 3 because we don't know what we're doing. So again, season 3 became this massive debate where you either loved it or you hated it. Now, I do think in this particular case, more people didn't like it than not, but it does get really loud on X, especially, or in the comments section, if you argue. And a lot of people are starting to come around to the fact that Jack Black and Lizzo had this cameo, and they're like, oh, well, it was just fun. Star Wars is trying to be fun. Maybe. But I also think they were just trying to get Jack Black and Lizzo on there to boost numbers. That's what I think. That's what they tried to do, and it did not go well. People did not like season 3 ultimately, and I think it caused some problems. But people are too loud about those problems. Everyone just needs to relax. You're gonna be okay. Now, speaking of Mandalorians, we have to talk about the book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett finally got his own show, guys. We were hyped. Oh my gosh, I could not wait. When I found out Boba Fett was getting his own show, I was pumped. I kept thinking about that scene from Parks and Rec where they describe how he could emerge from the sand.
Hand down from the twin sons of Tatooine, we are now close on the mouth of the Sarlacc pit. The gloved Mandalorian armor gauntlet of Boba Fett grabs onto the sand outside the Sarlacc pit at Jabba's palace ship.
Oh man, we were so excited. This is something that we have been wanting for a while, and it's weird, but like, man, Boba Fett is such a cultural icon. We could not wait until we watched it. Oh, what a boring show. Some loved the Tatooine crime lord vibe and flashbacks to Boba's past, but a lot of others felt it did not deliver. I am one of those others. Critics pointed out to uneven pacing, a lack of focus on Boba himself, and episodes that felt like Mandalorian spin-offs like Din Djarin's return. Fans who grew up with Boba's mystique from The Empire Strikes Back wanted a ruthless anti-hero, not a reformed leader. This sparked debates about whether Disney misunderstood Boba or if fans' expectations were way too high. It's a classic Star Wars problem. Nostalgia versus new directions. And again, like even that line there that I just said, a little bit of an oversimplification because I don't know that it was expectation weighed against delivery. I think it just had more to do with like they didn't care. They felt like they had to shovel out something with Boba Fett and they just took the first story they got because it's worse than what you're thinking. It's not just that it was boring. It's not just the memes and the memes that were born from this show.
The Polynesian spa.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick. Get up! Go, go, Power Rangers! Go, go, Power Rangers!
Like a panther. Yes?
It is not just the slow pacing and the flashbacks and the fact that Boba spent half of his time taking a bath. It's not even just the fact that we kept seeing his same big, giant, goofy looking, weird, angered teeth smile every time he was attacking someone. Like, think about that weird, stupid chase scene where you have these like angsty teenager, whatever they are, early 20-somethings in their really colorful motorcycle hovercrafts chasing people slowly through Tatooine. What was that? It just was not a good show. And I hear from people that if you go back and watch it again, it goes down a little smoother.
Nice.
You can miss me with that. I'm not interested. I am one of the ones that did not like that show, and I was one of the ones that was very, very disappointed. But you know what? Come here. Let me tell you something. Come in a little closer. Back up a little bit. I know that I'm copying that one guy. I don't care if you like the show or not. There's no follow-up there. I don't care. If you like the show, great. If you don't, great. That's it. You know what I'm not doing? Attacking you. Because I don't care enough to attack you about this. About your opinion. Because it's your opinion. The High Republic and New Canon versus Legends. Okay, don't sleep on the books and comics. The High Republic Initiative, novels, comics, is set 200 years before the prequels, with new Jedi and threats. Some fans love its bold world building and diverse characters, but others just aren't sold. Why the divide? For one, it's a lot to take in. and dozens of books and comics can feel daunting. Some fans prefer the old expanded universe, now called Legends, with characters like Thrawn or Mara Jade. When Disney reset the canon in 2014, keeping only the movies and the Clone Wars, Legends fans felt like their stories were erased. Now let's not also forget the video games. That has also caused quite a stir online ever since Disney bought Star Wars. And a lot of it has to do with EA. But one game in particular, because you can talk about all the, like when they re-released Battlefront, or when they did their version of Battlefront, that caused a lot of problems, a lot of microtransactions. A lot of people were coming after EA for those things, and I don't blame them at all. But let's talk about something new, and that's Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws came out in 2024, and it promised an open world adventure as a scoundrel K-Vess. Some fans loved its Han Solo-esque vibe and exploration, but others were very disappointed. Critics pointed out to technical issues, repetitive missions, or a story that didn't feel epic enough for Star Wars. Fans who loved Jedi Survivor's lightsaber combat wanted more force action, not blasters. Games are a huge part of Star Wars, but they also spark debates about what a Star Wars game should be. Cinematic, like Knights of the Old Republic, or accessible, like Battlefront. And that's the thing, I haven't played Outlaws, so I can't really speak much into it, but I did see all the divisiveness online about it. People wanted to like it, and I think they're making themselves like it, and a lot of people wanted to hate it, therefore they're making themselves hate it. And then I think you have a lot of people that were just hoping to find a fun game, and I don't think they found that. And I have friends that would say that that's actually their favorite video game. So it's divisive, but it's weird how divisive it is. People will hate you, and they will call you a person who is prejudiced towards stories where a woman is the main character if you don't like that video game. What a box to put your opinion in. What a strange world to live in, where no one can have this opinion on a video game at all. Now, if you force someone to like it because of whoever the main character is, you're the one with the problem. That's the issue I have with all of these narratives that people like to drum up. If you don't like the sequels, if you don't like Outlaws, and if you don't like Rey, well, you must be a sicko in the head. You must hate women. You must hate people. You must hate diversity. Who made you the lord of people's opinion? I don't understand it. The amount of people that I see in the comments that call someone a bigot just because they don't like somebody is absolutely crazy. And I think we just look for the most extreme thing to say to get as much reaction as we possibly can. That is not being a normal human.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's just not. And that is the problem that we are having right now, not just as a society, but as Star Wars fans. We have lost the sight of what matters, and that is enjoying Star Wars and talking about it, even if we disagree. But now it has become real world politics where we hate each other based off an opinion. That is a problem. And then you have gatekeeping. Now this one's interesting. This is a deeper issue. Star Wars spans generations. You have the original trilogy fans from the 70s and 80s, prequels kids from the 90s and early 2000s, sequels fans from the 2010s, and Disney Plus viewers today. Each group has their Star Wars. What happens is older fans, they like to gatekeep and say that you're not a real fan if you don't think the original trilogy is the best of them all. Younger fans push back and they say, no, it's all about the prequels. And then even younger fans like to push back and say, no, it's all about current today, Mandalorian and the sequels and so on. This generational clash fuels arguments. Prequel fans, once mocked, now defend the Phantom Menace fiercely. Sequels fans feel attacked for loving Rey. It's not just about the taste, it's about identity. Someone criticizes your Star Wars and it feels personal. And now finally, let's talk about the big amplifiers. Let's get into social media. Social media and real world politics. Platforms like X turned debates into gladiatorial arenas. A post about the Acolyte's casting or the Last Jedi's themes can spiral into thousands of replies, many abandoning nuance for outrage. Algorithms reward hot takes, so the loudest voices dominate. And politics? Oh boy, politics. Star Wars has always tackled the themes of politics, whether it be in Rebellion or the Empire, but newer stories lean into identity politics and diversity and institutional critique, which some fans embrace and others see as a woke overreach. These debates often reflect broader cultural divides, not just Star Wars. Then there's Disney. Some fans argue Disney's focus on quantity, spinning out shows, books, and games, dilutes Star Wars' magic. And others say Lucasfilm's creative choices, like retconning or fan service, show a lack of vision. Fans feel like they are fighting not just each other, but a corporate machine that doesn't always get Star Wars. So at the conclusion, what is the cost of all of this? What is the price that we are paying for the situation that we are all in? The Star Wars fandom used to be a community. Think about conventions and fan films and late night debates over pizza. Now it is a battleground, and new fans hesitate to join, fearing they'll be called fake or dogpiled on X. Creators face harassment, which can scare off bold ideas. And we are so busy arguing that we forget about the awesome parts of Star Wars, like talking about the X-Wing, the wisdom of Yoda, the heart of Leia's rebellion, stuff that we used to talk about in lunch at school with our friends. That doesn't happen anymore. Now it's all about debating and fighting, and luckily I get to be a part of a cool little community online that just loves talking Star Wars, and we get along even if we make fun of each other. But what is not happening in a general sense is just that. In a general sense, it is a battleground. But it is not too late. We don't have to agree on everything. Debates are what make fandom fun. Here's something that you should maybe try. If you see someone giving praise to the Acolyte or maybe even the Last Jedi, instead of attacking them, ask why. Why do you like it? And just hear them out. You know what happens though sometimes, I've noticed, because I've tried this, sometimes that goes very well, and other times they think you're stupid for asking why. How dare you ask why? You must not like women for asking why. I get it. But the best thing that you can do is be above reproach. And for those of you that love The Acolyte and The Last Jedi and the sequels and all that stuff, maybe if you see someone that doesn't like that stuff or likes something better, maybe instead of attacking them, maybe you ask the question, well, why do you like that so much more? Now, you will have the same responses that I just mentioned earlier sometimes, but a lot of the times the people that I know, they just want to explain why they love Star Wars the way they love Star Wars. And really, it's this way on either side of the fence. You have angry people, you have dogmatic people, you have people that think things must be a certain way and that is it, and that's just how it is. If the majority of us could come together as a Star Wars community and say, hey, you know what? You like this show, but I don't, but we can still talk about Star Wars in some sort of love, that would be fantastic. And I get that's unrealistic. I get it. Where that's not the culture that we're in right now. That's not the time that we're in right now. That's just not how it is. And I know that's wishful thinking from a rookie YouTuber. But let me tell you this, I won't give up hope. As long as Luke Skywalker doesn't. Wait. Either way, at the end of the day, Star Wars is about redemption. It's about hope, and it's about coming together. Maybe we can channel that spirit in our fandom today. So Star Wars fans, let me ask you this. What is the problem? Instead of fighting in my comment section, why don't you talk about your favorite Star Wars moments and why? I don't care if it's a movie, a book, a game, talk about it. Let's have fun again. Let's make Star Wars a fun experience for everyone and not this place where it's beat them up, drag them out into the street and yell at them and shame them for liking things a certain way or disliking things a certain way. Let's have some fun and let's talk about Star Wars, baby. Let's celebrate that this unites us more than divides us. I'm tired of Star Wars fans getting a bad rep. Let's fix it. Let's have fun talking about Star Wars. Do it right here in the comments. Tell me, what is your favorite Star Wars moment and why? Make sure you hit subscribe, follow me on X, hit the like button or dislike button, whatever you want, because it's your opinion, even if you hate me, but I would love if you would hit the like button. Let me leave you all with the question, why have I not played Knights of the Old Republic yet? And should I? I'll think about it. We'll see you all in the next one.